Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Looks good.
All right. Well, you look good.
Is this working now?
Yeah, it's working now. We're on.
Okay.
Okay. So,
Yes.
Dos Amigos. Here we are.
That's true. Truer words were never spoken. Yeah. So we haven't had a chance to be together in a while. You've been out and about, and so have I to a lesser extent. We've each been scattered about and have returned.
Yeah, you went to LA too, right?
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
in LA for a while.
Yeah, to see your son.
Yeah.
Nice. How's he
It's
doing?
nice, except the most inhospitable places in America are airports.
Oof. Yeah, they aren't easy. They're not easy.
No.
No.
And nobody cares about improving it.
No, I think America is turning into a third world country. Basically, we're degrading ourselves.
Yes, we're
Yeah.
degrading.
Yeah.
We're degrading.
Yeah, I mean, there's tons of money still, but it's all getting concentrated in wealth and not in public interest.
I read something in the Times that blew me away.
So, yeah.
The top 1% of wealth in this country controls $56 billion worth of assets, which is more than the gross, the GNP of America and China combined.
Oh, it's
the
way more than
1%.
56 billion. It's but I'm not surprised.
Well, that's
Yeah.
what I read.
Yeah.
And that is a datum for upheaval.
Yeah. So I heard something that the top 12 people in the world, the
12
top 12 people in the world hold more wealth than the bottom 4 billion. 4 billion. So there's 12 people who have as much wealth as,
And they're the puppeteers,
as
you know.
4
They're the ones
billion
who,
people.
they're the puppeteers.
Yeah.
They're the ones who are making everybody
Yeah.
dance.
Yeah. Yeah, that's why we're at war, I mean, the whole fucking thing. It's crazy.
Well,
Yeah. Yeah.
It portends change, sudden change, radical change.
Well, we need
Can't
it.
stay this way.
No, it can't stay this way. The problem is it's going to be painful. But in the end, it'll be better. But
Well, that's
it's
yeah,
going
that's
to be,
that's how it works.
right.
That's,
I mean, like, look at the American
it's like
Revolution.
a volcano or
Yeah.
a meteor or whatever it is.
I mean, did you see the Ken Burns thing on the American Revolution? And yeah, I mean,
I
it
did.
was ugly. Right?
Oh.
It was ugly.
Oh.
People were getting tarred
The
and feathered.
suffering and yeah.
I mean, the amount of suffering that went on for the country, for
Never
everybody.
mind that. How about Torquemada and the Spanish Inquisition and the Crusades
Yeah.
and
I mean,
all
so
responsive to religion. It's all about whose God wins.
well, in the name of religion.
That's
It
right.
was about
That's right.
money.
That's right.
The Spanish didn't come to South America to get everybody
No.
to be Catholic.
No,
You
they came for the gold.
They came for what they thought was the gold, but then they got here and it wasn't that much gold, so they exploited other things instead.
Directly and indirectly, it wasn't only the steel. It was also the germs.
Yes. Well, that was part of the suffering, bringing
That's
the
right.
European germs. But it's always, I mean, this is why, when I try to figure out what's going on in the war, Iran now, it comes down to three things I said in front, and I don't know what it is. I don't know exactly why, but it comes down to power and money and hubris. That's it. It's those three things combined. It's not like, oh, we got to get rid of the nukes, so we got to, get rid of the missiles, so we got to get rid of the regime. No, it's about power and money and the stupidity of this administration. So,
now you're getting microscopic. But
Yeah.
if you pull back, the general thing
yeah,
is power, money, and I have my own thoughts about that.
About the hubris. Yeah,
I probably don't want to go on record
Yeah.
to say it though.
no, it's whatever. I mean, again, we don't have to go down that road too far because there are lots of other people who are going down that road of trying to figure out why the heck we're doing what we're doing these days. But there's going to be, back to your point about change. I think you're right. You know, the world is shifting around and it's changing, and it's going to wave across this country as well, and it's going to be difficult. So we need to be ready for a difficult time.
Yeah, well, things are always changing in a natural way, but that's a very gradual thing, like evolution. But
no, this is
Stephen Jay Gould,
it's going to be faster than evolution.
Stephen Jay Gould talks about called punctuated equilibrium. I mean, punctuated evolution, where if you leave things naturally, it'll be gradual, but every once in a while there's a radical change in favor of survival. But a meteor hits and the dinosaurs are done, so mammals have a window. Atom bomb in Japan, and that changes the whole landscape.
Well, I mean, again, I think what's most interesting about this change is how humanly, how it's not our evolution biologically, it's our predisposition, our sense of selfish, our selfishism and all. I mean, we have the resources and the technology to make life we live on heaven, where it's heaven here on earth.
Eden.
It's Eden. It's like, here we are on this unbelievable, incredible planet that is so abundant and so resourceful.
The Goldilocks.
Right. I mean, it's unbelievable how fortunate we are, and yet we keep wanting to fuck it up.
We don't want to fuck it up, but our nature drives fucking it up.
Yes.
The selfishness.
A selfish nature drives fucking it up. When actually there's plenty of resources to go around. If 12 people have as much wealth as 4 billion, there is enough resources to go around.
But that kind of then there's a tendency to balance it, and that'll happen often violently.
Right. Yes. To rebalance it takes violence, and that is the crux. That's where we're at right now. That's
right.
I don't know how this is going to go, but it's going to go unpleasantly. It may be how unpleasant, we don't know. I mean, but it's going to go
unpleasantly for the haves
and for the have-nots, because the haves aren't going to give it. I mean, like the theocracy in Iran, which again, I can disagree with this war and still not like the theocracy in Iran, right? So it's pretty fucking brutal.
Right, well,
it's pretty brutal, right? And if somebody uprises, they'll just go kill them, right?
They slaughtered 42,000 in the latest uprising.
I don't completely believe that. But
that's right.
I do not believe that because there would be way more evidence of 40,000 people getting. I mean, have you seen any evidence?
No, but they've shut down the internet and shut down any kind of flow.
Somebody would be taking pictures and they would be getting out of the country.
That's right.
And so I do not believe that 40,000 people were killed.
And
now maybe a few thousand, but that's way different from 40,000.
Right.
So that's part of the publicity of this war, is that whole
propaganda.
Thing.
That's right. And you have no way of knowing what's true. Mm-hmm. Even the videos are easily.
We don't know. We can't
doctored.
verify. Like, did that happen in Arizona, or did that happen?
So unless I see it, unless I sense it with firsthand,
right.
It's.
Or just corroborate.
I have no faith in it.
I mean, I hear all these theories that people keep sending me about what's going on and things, and I say, well, has anyone corroborated that theory? Because it's like, I mean, it's an interesting one because you can make up all kinds of stories about why we're here. But, I have this one about the Mossad and the CIA were in cahoots and convince the president to go to war, and I'm just like, okay, that's an interesting theory, but has anyone corroborated that theory? You know?
There's a whole range of what people believe out there. Some people still believe the Earth is flat and that we never walked on the moon. Some people really believe that, or that Putz didn't really lose in 2020.
Right. There are lots of people who hang on
because they need to.
Because they need to, and so. These are the fatal flaws, the selfishism and how easily we are manipulated. Those two things combine to make for a fatal flaws, which means we may not make it through this. You know, we may this uprising that's going to happen may really do some real. I mean, we probably won't completely eliminate ourselves, but we could. You know, if there's a nuclear war, that could cause real problems. So, you know, for our species, you know, so we'll see. That's why I said, like, it's going to be unpleasant. We just don't know how unpleasant.
Or when.
Or when exactly. Although I think we all feel like it's, you know, it's picking up some momentum. You know,
we've felt that
so
before.
It's like, you know, so we don't
by
know
mistake. I mean, people. When I was growing up, people were building bomb shelters, you know, that they turned out they didn't need, kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of money to be made along the way.
Well,
that's for sure.
Follow the money.
A lot of money to be made along the way. But
that's not an unwise posture.
Yeah, follow the money. But I don't know if we should spend too much more time talking about
that's
politics.
Fine. That's fine.
Right
Yeah,
because we have way more salient issues,
humanistic issues.
Yeah, or just stuff that's going on, you know, for us more personally, but also just it's hard. I mean, it's very easy to get caught up in the state of the world because that's what the media feeds us all the time. But you know, I've been feeling a bit overwhelmed lately. You know,
that's a strong word.
Yeah, no, but I am feeling it. I'm getting. Well, for one, the biggest sort of big change for me in this season, or this, you know, through the winter, has been going back to school full time. So I'm in school full time right now, 3 courses, and I'm not sure I'm really cut out for full time graduate school.
So this is taken you by surprise. You didn't
a little bit,
expect
yeah. I didn't think I would. I felt. I mean, I've been going 2 courses a semester basically since I started. And I felt, okay, I'll try putting my foot on the gas pedal here and speeding things up a little bit to go to 3 courses. And I do not like the balance of my life.
The balance off.
Yeah, it's thrown the balance off in terms of it's for me, you know, I have other things in my life that I like doing.
It's foreclosed on your availability to do other things.
Right. And now I feel like I'm spending an awful lot of time kind of in the abstract, you know, like talking about things and writing about things and thinking about things. And I am more of a doer than I am. I mean, I like to think, and you and I have, you know, had lots of conversations that have to do with interesting cerebral thoughts about the state of the world and the state of things and why it's happening. But I don't like to do it too much. I don't really like to. I mean, this is something I'm learning about myself. I don't like to do anything too much. I like carpentry, but I don't like to do carpentry too much. I like teaching yoga and meditation quite a lot. And I did that, I mean, for a long time. It was pretty much my full-time endeavor. But even that reaches its limits of how much time I want to spend in the ethereal realm, right, in the energetic realm. And I'm finding that, you know, and part of it is the way graduate school is structured now for me. It's going to change in the fall because I'm going to be doing my practicum and then my internship.
So these are the last 3 academic classes?
No, I've got a couple more that I'm supposed to take this summer, and then I'll have 1 or 2 more after that. But I'll take alongside the practicum and things like that. But the thing about being in 3 classes right now, and more of the curriculum is moving online and onto these discussion boards. And so you're on these discussion boards with your other students, basically laying out your perspective on some aspect of the teaching. And then there's supposed to be kind of a little bit of back and forth. And I remember this from the last time I was in graduate school many, many years ago, especially near the end. I started to describe graduate school as intellectual masturbation. You know, like we're just talking about stuff. We're trying to prove that we know something, and we're trying to use the vocabulary.
But graduate school is a means to an end. It's not. It's not real life.
No, it's not. But that's the problem I'm having with it. The problem I'm having, and I can deal.
They have what you need,
right.
And you've got to, go through your paces to get it. It's an interlude that you've decided you wanted to do.
Yep. I did. I willingly chose it.
You're right.
Yep.
But
and I'm not unhappy that I chose it. I'm just telling you the difference between 2 classes and 3 classes.
Right.
Is,
so surely you have the option to withdraw.
I'm not going to withdraw.
One of the
but
classes.
I have the option
not
to
from the program, but from one class.
Take my foot. I'm not going to withdraw this semester because I'm now in it and I'm going to finish this. I've only got a month left. I'm going to finish this up. What I'm learning is maybe I'll take my foot off the gas pedal and go back to 2 courses a semester as opposed to 3, because the other big thing I've realized, and I've realized this before, is the most valuable commodity I have by far is my time. And how do I want to spend it? Knowing full well that the runway is getting shorter and shorter, right? So it's like, okay, I like this is maybe, I don't know if this is a character flaw or just a character of me, that I put a very high value on doing things that I find valuable. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but some people don't. Some people are fine with putting a very high value on things that they don't like doing because they don't find particularly intrinsically valuable, because it gives them something else. Like going and working on Wall Street, or going and being a lawyer. I know so many lawyers who don't particularly like being a lawyer, right?
That's true.
But they make a very good living. I mean, I found out about how much lawyers actually make. They make like $1,000 an hour. It's like, well, okay, I'll go and do that because I make $1,000 an hour. Like, I don't blame them.
Well, that's a deal they make with the devil then. And
but I don't have the bandwidth for that. It's just not the way I'm built.
Or the runway, as you say.
Well, maybe it's more just, listen, I could have chosen other things. I could have been, I realize I'm smart, right? So I could have done any of these things, It's more like, how do I value my time? And I value my time in terms of its intrinsic value. And I'm not saying that graduate school doesn't have intrinsic value, because I am learning things that I appreciate and like. The question is, again, how much of my time am I spending doing it? I don't mean to say, well, just because I'm on the discussion boards, I don't even mind the discussion boards. It's how much time you spend on the discussion boards. How much time do I have to keep circling back into this realm in which I feel like the learning is, I'm a much more experiential learning. Like we're talking about, again, for instance, right now I'm talking about trauma and how, some of the effects of trauma and how some of the treatments of trauma. And I feel like, again, when we're doing this online, asynchronously, it feels like an abstraction as opposed to being in the class where maybe we're dealing with a particular case together, and the trauma and the counter transference of the trauma is coming up for all of us, and now we have to deal with it, because that's what we're going to have to deal with. We're going to have to be able to, the way you heal trauma, my feeling about this, is by being with it. You have to be with it, and you have to be with it. In talking about it, it's not being with it, it's abstraction.
But this abstraction, this enterprise that you're in, is a means to an end. It's not real life.
Right. And that's the part that I start to get a little shaky when it feels like, oh, this isn't really I'm not really learning this. It's like again, it's like talking about electricity, reading about electricity. Until you stick your finger in the socket, you have no fucking real idea what electricity is. You have this concept of electricity, but until you get a good shock one day, it's like, oh, the lights, oh yes, electricity. You're like, no.
But you're doing this to deliver yourself to a place where you can
help people, hopefully
engage in real life stuff and not academic stuff.
Right.
It's a means to an end.
I do
choice
understand
you made.
I'm not complaining about the choice. I am complaining a little bit about how I'm being
you're
taught.
describing that this is sort of taking you by surprise a little bit, and
it's taking me by surprise in the sense that.
And you're saying you don't like it. Nobody likes graduate school. Nobody, except the people that want to keep staying in school because they're afraid of going out into the real world.
Listen, there are parts of it that I like. I definitely like parts of it, and
that's a bonus.
Yeah. Right, but I'm just noticing, as I said, people asking me how it's going. I said, well, it's kind of crap in my style, right? Which I mean that kind of, colloquially,
it interrupts
a little tongue in cheek, but and I kind of got used to the 2 classes in the rest of my life, and now going to 3 has squeezed me up against having to. Yeah, it's just difficult. So I'm and anyways, it's a good lesson. I'm learning a good lesson.
Yeah, well, it just reinforces what you already know. There's a beginning, middle, and end to everything. The good times and the bad times.
Yes.
There's a beginning, middle, and end to all of that.
That's right. And I'm kind of right in the middle of it right now. And so, it's fine. I'm not worried about it.
But what you're reporting is that it's taken you by surprise a little bit.
Yeah. It's taken me by surprise a little. Yeah. So... it's kind of one of those things where you realize, okay, just because you're good at something doesn't mean you're going to like doing it. You know what I mean?
I have to tell you, I had faith in a saying where I would say, you can't be good at something you don't like, and you can't like something you're not good at. And my son, who's an attorney, and therefore oriented toward the counter argument, immediately said to me, Dad, you were a good competitive swimmer and you hated every minute of it. So and he was right, of course, and there are exceptions to those rules, but they're very few. You can't be good at something you don't like or like something you're not good at, except swimming.
I'm going to argue I'm going to stick with your son on this, because I think I'm a good student.
Oh.
I've got all A's across the board. I'm good at figuring out.
And you were facile in that. It wasn't. You didn't have to struggle to get those A's, did you?
Not particularly.
No,
I just had to do the work, right?
Yeah.
And you realize if I do the work, I have the skills to do the work at a level which will get me an A. So
if you want to, right?
So I realize I like it to a certain extent, but then you get to this, at a certain level, you're just like, okay, I don't want to spend all my time doing something that I'm good at. I want to spend my time doing other things besides this. Right. And that's, I guess maybe that's part of the learning, is that just because we're good at something doesn't mean we're going to want to do it all the time. I mean? Not all, nobody does anything all the time, but this is the problem with the 40-hour work week. It's in the expectations around the 40-hour work week and the whole, it's a very capitalist idea that we should be doing something that we're good at all the time, as opposed to, no, how about we do it half the time? That kind of thing, and then get somebody else.
Like in Spain.
Right. Or, but it's interesting phenomenon. Anyways.
Yeah, but
this is what I've been working with over the last month or so.
Realize,
kind of struggling a little bit with this.
You're nearing the tail end of this.
I'm nearing the tail end of the academic part, and then I do the practicum internship part starting next year.
Which gets you closer to what you really want to be doing. It's the stuff of what you really
Yeah.
want to be doing.
Yeah, I mean, it'll be more hands-on. It'll be like sticking my finger in the socket. Like,
Right.
oh, okay, this is what this is going to be
Right.
like, right? So
Right.
we'll learn some things about that. And I'm sure there'll be some things about it that I like a lot and some things that I won't like
And you'll
about it.
want to be as prepared as you can be, and that's where the academic shit comes in.
I do understand that part. I do understand that there's some foundational knowledge that I'm supposed to be accumulating. I get that part.
Right.
Yeah.
And you're required to have that because you're going out there to offer services to the consuming public who have a right to rely on your training and experience.
Yeah. Yeah, they have a right to know that I know something, And I mean, again, something helpful, but as you probably know with academia as well, is that, again, just because you get an A in the course doesn't mean you know the subject matter. You know something, and you know how to get an A in the class.
Well,
but it doesn't mean and this is what my little problem with the discussion boards, because I don't really feel like they're, for me, and I think for some people they probably work perfectly fine, but for me they're not the best way to learn the subject matter. I feel like what I've figured out how to do is to participate.
They're the best way to get you an entree to a crew experience. I mean, anyone who goes to law school doesn't know a fucking thing about being a lawyer until they become a lawyer. Right. That's how you learn it. Same thing with mental health professionals.
Right. I mean, I realize
you can't learn it from a textbook or a classroom or even supervision. You need to go out there and learn it and do it. And part of what for me, and I think for a lot of people, the difficulty is when you begin doing it, you still feel fraudulent about it.
Mm-hmm.
You still have to get that experience at the expense of your first clients.
Right. No, I agree with that. I know that you're learning on the job for sure.
Right.
And that part I'm looking forward to,
Right.
So,
I
am,
the next step.
I think, humble enough to know that, I'm in the novice stage,
That's
and
right.
So,
That's right.
But I also have the confidence that I will get better at it, and I'll be on a reasonably good learning curve.
But better than that,
you're
coming from a place where you have great experience that adds to and will catalyze your initial experiences in this direction because you've been doing it in a different way that informs and enriches doing it anew.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm hopeful that I'll be able to, it's building upon
that's right.
the rest of my life experience. There's a foundation already there. And there'll be experiences which I can pull from that, which will be helpful.
That's right.
For this. Anyways, I'm just like sharing with you my little realization and some, I said I'm overwhelmed at the beginning because I'm trying to kind of keep doing all the other things that I was doing in my life and fulfill my graduate school obligations at the level which I am, want to do it, which is, again, that's part of it too. I realize I can get the A's. And so, why don't I get them? You see what I mean? I could say, well, get the B's, or get the C's, because you don't, in the end, no one gives a crap. And so
that's right.
But now that I know
and
that
you're trading,
right.
accelerating, by taking 3 instead of 2, you're trading the B for the A.
Right. No, I'm gonna get the A still. I know I am because I'm gonna get the work done. But what probably is going to happen is I'm going to figure out a way to take my foot off the gas pedal a little bit, because whether I get done in the summer of 2027 or in the fall of 2027, does it really matter?
No.
No, it doesn't. And what's the quality of my life in the meantime?
The bane of it is that the only thing that matters is getting the fucking credential.
Right.
And that's an all or none phenomenon.
Exactly. And so you just have to do it till it's done.
That's right.
Yeah. So
and
anyways,
there's very little reward except for that carrot.
Well, as I said, it's not all unenjoyable. I am enjoying
Good.
it. I'm just
good.
realizing I could enjoy it probably more if I had less of it. It's almost like it's when you overeat.
Yeah.
It's kind of like that. It's like I feel like I'm overeating, and it's making me a little sick.
Right.
Is it? Well, Greg, stop fucking overeating then.
Right.
That's sort of a good, not a bad analogy.
Yeah.
It's like you don't have to give up food, Greg. Just stop eating that extra meal.
Right.
Yeah. Anyways, it's been kind of an interesting semester, and it kind of like it was interesting, like coming off of the fall, which was so interesting, where I had to like take get extensions for my classes and things like that because of my dad's passing, and now I've sort of dove more into it now, and I'm up to date and keeping up with it, but I'm just like, I'm just eating too much of this, so it's not that I don't appreciate it or even like it. But it's just like more than I bargained for. Let's put it that way. It's a good little cliche as well.
But
anyways,
it's requiring you to be adaptive, and that's what you're being.
Yeah, I'm adapting, and as I said, I got another month of this semester, so we're going to definitely get through it. How about you? What's rising to the surface for you these days?
Life is good. Life is good. I mean, there are things in play that are menacing that have to do with my health and my wife's health, but we're on top of it, and we are not in any way suffering, because we're being nimble about adapting to aging will affect everybody in their own unique way. Mm-hmm. There's a constellation of things that plague me that I'm going, okay, so I'll deal with this, and my life will change in that way, and I will be unavailable to do things that I used to take for granted, and okay, so that's what it is for me. Same thing for Andy. I mean, she's we caught stuff early, and she's got medical tribulations from time to time that you just put up with, and you defeat it. I mean, who cares what kills us at 96? As long as you can stay ahead of the game. Mm-hmm. And so we are, and so I'm adapting. I can't do a lot of the things that I wish I could, that I used to be able to do, and that's I don't experience a loss of freedom.
That's nice.
Yeah, I'm still doing what the fuck I want to do, as however I can. Mm-hmm. And I'm a little fearful about the trajectory, but that's just academic now. So so far each day it requires you, if you can access it, it requires you to really, it forces you to be in the moment, to appreciate, this, like I said, life is good, which is my way of saying today is good.
Mm-hmm.
If you ask me how I am, if you're a good enough friend, I'll tell you today's bad.
Mm-hmm.
When it's bad, knowing that tomorrow could easily be good, and that's that's the ping pong game that you play.
It can happen in the day. I mean, in the
that's
course
right.
of
Within
the day.
within the day.
Yesterday, I had a kind of day, sort of like that, where I was feeling again like that kind of feeling of overwhelmness was kind of building again that I was talking about, and then I took a nap, and I woke up from the nap, and I was like, oh, I feel like way better now, and so
this is good.
So the rest of my day was fine,
Yeah.
So but nothing had really changed in terms of those elements.
And what does that tell you? What does that tell you? It tells you you are the source of.
I am
you're the source of feeling good, feeling bad. Right.
Yeah, I am the judge.
That's right.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not.
Which is a great lesson if you can benefit from it.
Yeah. Yes, I am the one who is determining that I am overwhelmed. Do you see what I mean?
Yes.
As opposed
I
to,
do.
You're still standing here, you're still breathing, so
right.
you're
the one interpreting it as overwhelmed.
Exactly. I am the one interpreting it as overwhelmed, as opposed to
we've talked about this before.
Full and interesting.
You can go to India and see people in the worst deprivation and squalor smiling all day.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
And
that's true. I've seen
when you impose yourself on that situation, you'd want to kill yourself.
Right.
But not if you're in it and have some sensibility and talent to just
be present.
That's right.
To be present.
To be present.
Yeah. Yeah. When you get back to the present moment, it's almost always good. Even when it's challenging, it's almost always good.
Yeah.
It's like, it's kind of amazing how that can happen.
And the lesson is that we are in control of that.
Mm-hmm.
We can opt to find that. It's simple and difficult. It takes practice.
Yeah.
It takes practice.
It takes noticing, for one. You got to notice when you're kind of going down that judgmental road, right? And then sort of saying,
and that you're doing it to yourself. Yeah. And it's like that scene in Moonstruck where Cher slaps her boyfriend's face and snap out of it.
Mm-hmm.
Snap out of it.
Yeah.
Come back down.
Yeah. Yeah, wake up.
Yeah.
Wake up. You're up on some dreamland.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I understand. Definitely. So when you said like the fear of the trajectory, is that something that's like imminent or something like we're all going to die relatively soon?
I'm glad you asked that because it's not we're all going to die, because I don't give a shit about we're all.
Yeah.
When I get in that place, I'm thinking about me, and I know that there's a natural deterioration, that the telomeres at the end of my genes are withering, and that along with that is going to go capacity to do things. And when I start to notice that that involves my brain, I'm worried about that. And I live every day. There are times every day where I think about, okay, there's going to be an end, and I'm fond of saying, I don't know how I'm going to die. I know how I'm not going to die. I'm not going to die scuba diving. I'm not going to die bungee jumping. I'm not going to die
parachuting.
Yeah, I'm not going to die taking risks. But I am going to die, and it's possible that will be frightening. And I know enough about my medical history to know that it might involve being unable to breathe, unable. So I.
Do you know that's how my dad died?
How?
He basically had pulmonary failure.
Yeah, but that's like drowning in your bed. That's fucking ugly. That's frightening shit. And I've
It's
been
frightening.
I've been in that place
have
where
have you been with people who have died of
I've
pulmonary
been with
vein?
me when that's happened.
Okay. Yeah.
So I know how frightening that is.
Yeah.
So, and I every day I ruminate a little bit from time to time, sometimes more, sometimes less, about, oh, how's this going to happen?
Yeah.
And if I lose my ability to express myself, or I lose my ability to talk, or think, or
Yeah.
remember, or be a burden to my family, my children, to be a burden that they have to take care of me and the expense of that and whatever it is, it's upsetting.
Yeah.
And there's nothing I can do about it. I don't think. I think if I notice that it's happening and it gets to a point where I don't want it to be doing that anymore, I'll have options.
Mm-hmm.
But that's all academic now. It's just theoretical now.
Right.
But I know
it's hard
that I know that's going to get real, more real the older I get.
More real and more imminent.
Yes, that's
both.
right. The runway gets shorter and
The
shorter
runway
and
gets
shorter.
shorter and shorter. And we don't know exactly how it's going to happen and when it's going to happen, but we know it is going to happen.
That's right. And we'll be noticing as it happens.
Mm-hmm.
We'll notice as it happens. I mean, there's shit I can't do that I used to be able to do. I mean, I was in Los Angeles. Do you know how long you have to how long the walk is from the gate to from the entrance to the gate and back again? It's more than a mile.
Long
and
walk, yeah.
Walking for me is an issue.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I make up my mind, you need to do this, or you want to do this, so I do it. I don't experience a choice when that happens. But there's going to come a time where I'm going to intend to do something and be unable to do it.
Sure.
That hasn't happened yet, but I know that's going to happen.
Some point where you're intending to do something and you're not going to be able to do it.
Right. And I'm intending to do it because I need to do it.
So you feel a need to do it. Yeah. I'm thinking of, it's kind of like thinking about how you had to decide not to umpire baseball
That's
games
huge
anymore.
in my life. That was a huge
I
thing.
remember when that happened and what a big loss it was.
It was a big. That's exactly right. It was a huge loss and a
Yeah.
voluntary one.
Well, one which you had to make, right?
Right.
But you couldn't overcome your intention. My intention is to umpire, but you had to make another decision. Like, that is not going to be fair to anybody,
That's
not
right.
just to me, but to
That's
the
right.
people who
That's
I'd
right.
be serving.
That's
right.
right.
So
I had to relinquish something I loved
Yeah.
that was an important part of it was important to me.
right.
But
I mean, there is maybe it's that pre-grieving, like the world will get smaller. There'll be times, there'll be a time when you decide that going through airports is not worth it. That will happen. You will, and assuming you live long enough, it doesn't happen, but there's a point where you just realize that traveling on an airplane is too much. It's too much of a pain in the ass, and
your world shrinks.
Yeah, your world will shrink. So that's why you want to be somewhere where you want to be, because at some point it will shrink down to that world.
But I think I have the capacity and the drive and intention to accept that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, a lot of the work I do in here, when we get to an impasse with somebody and their patterns aren't changing and it's not available to them to change, then you need to shift into accepting what it is.
Well, most of enlightenment is about acceptance.
That's right.
Right.
That's right. Acceptance.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's hard.
It's hard.
It's hard. It's not
But
easy.
you don't have a reasonable choice.
No. Well, you could not accept it, but that's just
Well,
more
then
suffering,
you're just going to be miserable.
right. Then you're suffering,
and you'll be the source of that
right.
misery.
You're going to be suffering, and you're going to project that suffering,
And that's
onto
on
others.
you.
Right. So yeah, no. Acceptance is the name of the game ultimately, but
Agreed.
I think,
Agreed.
and I'm wondering again how acceptance affects the experience and the fear. I mean, it was.
Wait a minute, say that again.
Well, acceptance, how it then changes the experience. Like, say,
Ah.
I mean, I really appreciate you sharing your fear. I really appreciate it a lot, but I can't help but compare it to my dad's experience. Because it's kind of, your fear is similar to the experience that he had.
Was he aware enough to be afraid?
Oh yeah. He was. I mean, here's the upside. The upside is my dad had his cognizance right up until the very end. Now, in the last week, he was not conscious a lot of the time. So, but when he was conscious, he was there, and he knew what was going on. He knew who was there. He knew.
Was he frightened?
He said no. He said, "I am not afraid." And this is when he was on. I mean, he had been on a couple of months before that. He was on 40 liters of oxygen for a while. 40. That's the max. They can't give you any. The room will explode if you put more into the room than that, right? So, and even while he was, on his deathbed, basically the last week of his life, he was on oxygen, and he was on a pretty good amount of it, and so. It wasn't like he wasn't being assisted just to stay alive, but he was not particularly anxious. He was a little pissed when he was a little pissed off that he was dying, but he wasn't overly pissed off. He was just like, "Fuck, I'm dying," like this is it. This is the this is the end game. But,
so he was efforting acceptance.
The most important moment of our adult lives, me and my dad, was the moment I came in to see him a week before he died, and I said, "How are you doing?" And he looked up at me and said, I think I've told you this story, and he said, "Well, I'm dying." In that moment, our relationship, I like to call it, we got enlightened. We released all of this stuff
that didn't matter.
It didn't matter. And they say
Wouldn't
that
it be
notion
great
about,
if we fucking lived that
about
way?
Getting enlightened. Oh my God!
If we lived,
I had asked
it doesn't
him,
matter.
Right.
It doesn't matter.
2 years. I think I told you the story. 2 years before that date, 2 years ago, before that, he and I and Martha got into some conversation that got kind of heated about something about my life and how I was conducting it, and at the end I said, Dad, we don't have that much time left together. I'd like to make it as supportive and kind and loving as possible. And he looked at me like, why? Like, not that he didn't know what I was saying, but like, why would I even have to say that?
That didn't compute for him.
He
didn't live a life. He didn't live a life that included.
He was a little offended by pointing that out, as though that. And so he just said, "Well, of course," and that was his response. And I think he meant it at the time, but he wasn't really understanding what I was asking for, And but in that last week, after that moment, that's what happened. And I remember my only
because he became available.
Yeah.
Whereas,
right.
Up to that point, none of that shit computed for him.
It didn't.
Based on your stories.
Based on my stories and based on my interpretation, he couldn't. But he did get there in the end, and that's my. I guess why I'm sharing this story now is my experience of my father's demise was not scary. It wasn't
scary for either
me,
one of you.
For me, for him, I think it was more like my dad's very pragmatic. He was they were on curative care, like trying to fix it, right up until a week before he died. Right. So then they went to hospice,
right.
and
right.
But So, and he was just very pragmatic. I remember that when he was in the hospital and he was getting the 40 liters and he's talking to me and maybe I think someone else, and he says, well, I don't consider this a fatal event. Right? And I'm looking at him in the hospital, like tubes everywhere and, all this. It's, he wasn't in the ICU at this point.
He was being defiant.
He was being defiant. And I'm looking at him going, well, I'm glad one person here feels that way, because I think all the rest of us here feel like this could be it, you know?
Doesn't look good.
It doesn't look good. And so, eventually they got there, and I understand, like, listen, we all have to get there in our own time, and if it's happening to you, it's different from observing somebody else.
That's for sure.
And so I respect the way he went through it, but what was so interesting is in the end, it gave me, I can't tell you how important this is, because in the end, it helped me with my feelings around my own demise, meaning like, well, this wasn't so bad. This wasn't so bad. And he had pulmonary failure, congestive heart failure, and kidney failure all going on at the same time. However, he died of pulmonary failure. He died because his lungs couldn't get enough oxygen. And it was, again, it just wasn't that bad.
It wouldn't what?
It wasn't that bad. I was going to say, well, you wouldn't want to wish it upon somebody, but you're going to die anyway, so what are we talking about here? And,
that's my point.
The other thing is morphine. They start giving you morphine in the end, and that's like a wonder drug, man. It's like, this is great. So not only does morphine, deal with the pain, which, it deals with the anxiety. It deals with, it helps you to calm your anxiety.
If you're feeling good, you can't be anxious.
And exactly. So your anxiety goes way down, even though you are, as you said, like you are suffocating. You're not getting enough oxygen to your brain and to other parts of your body. However, you're not too anxious about it, because it's, at least unless you're projecting anxiety into it, so
it sounds like it's a process of letting go. And I remember when we worked together, that was one of the most soothing instructions. I couldn't always follow it, but when I succeeded at letting go, it was a gift.
Mm-hmm.
And if you can do that voluntarily, if you can find a way to let go, it interrupts all the bad shit, all the anxiety, all the fear, all the anger. You just get to a place where you get to start again. You remember the game Etch-a-Sketch?
Yeah.
You remember how you clean?
I had Etch-a-Sketch. I love it.
You turn it over and you shake it, and you have a clean slate to start again. Letting go it feels like that.
Yeah. It's kind of like, the Buddhist monks who do the sand mandalas.
Yeah.
Those guys. They'll spend like a week.
Or more.
Just building, and then they just sweep it up and throw it in the river, but it's such a great practice, because it's like, talk about, you do your life's endeavors, and then you have to let go,
right?
That's a great analogy.
Everything perishes.
And I think, we've talked about before, my dad wasn't a perfect person, but he led a very good life. He had a very good life, and so, I think he did come to he was not pleased about his own demise, but he did come to peace with it, I think, and so I think it was a great gift for me and for my brothers, and we all handled it very differently. But,
is that right?
Oh yeah, that was a whole nother story, like how me and my brothers all handled my dad's last few weeks quite differently. But that's okay. We all had our own stuff
and it
to
sounds honest.
Yeah.
You can't be.
It was very authentic. It was a very authentic experience.
You can't be phony about how you handle it.
It wasn't, papered over. There wasn't denial going on. There wasn't even a lot of anger going on, again, because it was more like, this is what's happening. So,
and did you feel isolated separate from each other when that was going on? Did you?
yes and no.
Give each
I
other
definitely
space to just.
I think we were all having a very individual experience with my dad's passing, but there was a sense of togetherness as well. There was a sense of we are here for each other,
Right,
with
we're
each other,
going through
for
this
my
together
dad,
apart.
for my stepmom. We were there for each other. However, we were all having very individualized experiences, of what it was like for my dad to die, but it wasn't bad. This is what I'm trying to help, say to all of us here, is it really was not a bad experience, and it was, in some ways, maybe the most important experience of my adult life, in terms of what I have learned from it and what I've been able to take on from it. And so,
Well, that's how I feel like I'm in the preliminary phases of readying myself somehow.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's what the Buddhists tell us, to contemplate it every day.
Contemplate what?
Our death every day.
Really?
Yeah. We should contemplate it every day, because it will help us live more in the present. To do that, not to machinate, not to, but to actually remember that we are going to pass from this earth, and it's going to come sooner than we think, most likely, so
certainly sooner than we want,
or certainly sooner than we want, and so that helps to inform how we want to live our life now, and
you're going to die. What are you going to do about it now?
Yeah, I mean, I'll even say, in being honest, there was a part of me when you said, okay, let's get together yesterday, right? Because we were trying to figure out when to do it. That I was like, I don't have time to see Norman tomorrow. There was a part of me that said that, And then I'm like, well, fuck that. Who knows? This could be the last time we ever see each other, Norman. We don't know.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, what's important to me? What's important to me is seeing my friend Norman.
I'm aware.
And so I rearranged my thinking. Because I was like, at first I was like, I got too many fucking things going on. But then I was like, no, this is important.
I have to tell you. I have to tell you. I'm living like that more and more, and appreciating the important people in my life more and more, because I'm acutely aware of what, I'm not going to have this with Andy much longer, maybe, or my children, or my grandchildren, or my friends, and so
much longer, definitely. Now it may be
when I'm
wild,
with them,
much longer.
When I'm with them, I permit myself to be with them in a much more real, present way than I ever have, because you go through life assuming, I'll be there forever.
I'll see you tomorrow, right?
Yeah,
I'll see you next time.
Yeah,
but
see you down the road,
right? But no, I think that's a gift of just one of getting older, of just the poignancy of the moment.
The poignancy of the moment.
This I need to pay attention.
That's right. That's exactly right. Yeah. Pay attention to this.
Yeah, because it's.
Pay attention to this.
And what I think spiritually, what we build as individuals, as counselors, is this capacity for beauty and sadness. I mean, I think we've talked about, because those moments are beautiful and sad, because they're passing through, it's like sand in the hourglass, right? It's just like when you're with your grandchildren or something like that. You got to savor it, but it's like passing, and then you're gonna have to walk away, and at some point you will walk away, and they will continue on.
Right.
And so you want to just savor it.
But it has always been thus, and there's a certain comfort in that, in knowing that it's just natural. And,
it's totally natural. It's all meant to be, because it is, right? Yeah.
And it's gonna be the same. Cycle for everybody.
Everybody has to go through it, and we're blessed when we get a pretty long run, right? And when because it is extraordinary and amazing, and so
well, I always live with the template that my parents didn't have a long run at all.
Right.
And so I'm thinking, holy shit, you know.
What a blessing, huh?
Yeah.
I mean, like, from their perspective, you hit the mega lottery, you know?
Yeah. It's like they didn't get to see or know any of the stuff I'm getting to see and know now.
Yeah. Yeah. Which is both sad and beautiful,
That's right. It's
right?
really bittersweet.
I mean, the more open, when I'm in a really open space, those two experiences just start to go like this.
What two?
Beauty and sadness. They just, everything starts to
that's the yin
occur
and yang.
to me
That's
as
the yin and yang.
both
That's
beautiful and sad. You know?
that's what
So-
that's what Taoists say. You can't. They're connected. The bad and good are connected.
Mhm.
Happy and sad are connected.
Yeah.
It's,
Yeah. Yeah.
You can't have one without the other.
No.
You
And
can't
so-
know one
right.
without knowing the
So,
other.
so for me, my spiritual practice has to do with continuing to build my capacity for that. You know, how do I hold that space for myself and for others and with others, and show them that it's both extraordinary and amazing and
How
beautiful.
do you show them? How do
and-
you endeavor to show
and
them? How do
sad
you? How
and
do
tragic
you?
at the same
how
time.
do you set about doing that? How do you set about showing them?
Well, mostly again through, I think, the quality of attention. Like, how do I really get present? Like, how do I really, so you're not distracted in some way? And then being able to point out, like, what's it like to breathe this air right now? What's it like to feel my feet on the ground, And I feel
Is something lost when you
So-
have to put it in words?
I think this is one of the reasons why I really love yoga and things like, is that there's an activity to it. There's a visceral element to the experience that I think teaches and informs without words, right? And this is what I love about kind of like the shamanic experiences that I've had and the shamanic ceremonies and other things where you're having a direct experience of
So you make it available
reality.
to your charges, and they take from it whatever they can, if at all.
Right. And so, I think that, again, I use, like, there is some value to the intellectual knowledge, but you have to then transfer it into a visceral experience of some sort of somatic, visceral, I'm having the experience of it now.
Because it's my sense that you can't give it verbally. You can't give it by instruction or classes or lectures
See, I
or
don't
even
completely
books.
agree like that, because I mean, one of my issues with graduate school is, again, all this online stuff, which I do feel is like several degrees removed from the experience of the classroom, of being in the classroom with the professor and with the other students. And then when you start talking about trauma, the trauma actually starts to reside within that space. Like, if you have either a case, or even better, if somebody brings up their own traumatic experience and says, well, this is what happened to me. Now we're living in that space, and we're living with, okay, what's it like to be with somebody
Something real.
while they are reliving or even having a traumatic experience right now, because you can get re-triggered, it's the same thing. And how am I going to respond to that? That I find incredibly valuable. And if you can stay present, stay available, not run away, not shut down, not disassociate, not all these things, you got to practice, then you are helping someone to heal in that moment, because you're just, you're being with them. And so, and you can be talking can be part of that, but so, like, when you're in here in this room talking with somebody, your presence is as important, maybe more important, than what you're actually saying. Do you see what I mean? Like, you're
evincing compassion and caring, and listening and listening.
So yeah, and so So but the thing is in all these classes you're learning about attunement and rapport and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah,
And
empathy.
I'm like, but
Just
we're
the
not
word.
doing it. You
Right.
know, so and as a matter of fact, the way you set it up to do all this online is antithetical to doing it. That's
You ever challenge a
yes, I
professor
am.
about that?
I'm in the midst of challenging it now, and so it's just like, okay, I'm like,
If I'm your professor, I'm
Right.
thrilled with that. That you
Yeah.
that you invite that challenge.
yeah, no, I think that most of them understand it and appreciate it, and so they're certainly not holding it against me, so that's good.
No.
But it's a quandary. But I do think you asked earlier about how do I cultivate that, and it's again like, okay, how do I get out of my thinking mind and into how is this landing? How is this feeling right now? And then how can I tune into that and then empathize from that place? Whether it's just without words or just in being. I mean, I'm sure you've had times in here where somebody's told you some story and you felt it.
Oh.
You felt the pain, you felt the anguish, but that's good. That's a good thing.
It's really good.
And then they realize, oh, okay, I'm not fucking crazy here. This
That's
is really,
right. That's right.
This is a painful thing.
That's right.
When they realize it viscerally because you're feeling it too.
When a patient triggers your mirror neurons, and there is such a thing, they know they're not alone.
Right.
They know that it's a natural human response.
Yeah. So in that moment, again, when my dad, just to go back to that for a second, because you reminded me of it, I'm standing, my dad's lying down, and he says to me, well, I'm dying. And I sit down, there's a chair next to his bed, or maybe it was just on the edge of his bed, and I hold his hand, and I look into his eyes, and I say, yes. That was it. Now, that's that moment where I was letting this acknowledgement hit
That's
me.
right. It's
like let it sink
that's
in.
right.
That this person who I've had this 62-year incarnation with is passing, and that's what enlightened us. That the mutual acceptance and acknowledgement of this is what is happening
and the truth of
now took us to another level. Took us to another level of existence.
It opened the door.
Right. So we both were in acknowledgement and acceptance of this truth together. And it hit us. It landed. Like our time and this incarnation is coming to an end.
Because you've over the years described to me some of the clashes you've had with your father that had a lot to do with his pushing back against the choices in your life. I'm putting myself in your shoes and I'm thinking, he finally effing gets the value of me and who I am. Whereas before, he was setting it up against his values and
I think he was confused and somewhat dismissive, because it was like, he said to me once, I don't fucking understand you, and so
but with the component that you're wrong about what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
You're wrong about your choices and judgments.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that was true too.
But what you're describing now in the end was he finally got it.
Mm-hmm.
He finally got the value and the truth of it.
I think so. It certainly felt that way. It certainly felt he was it's like the veil lifted and we were in this place of real acceptance of each other,
Acceptance of each other.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Acceptance of each other.
Maybe for the first time.
Yeah. Well, again, I think for the first time in our adult lives.
Right.
Yeah. I think we had moments when I was a child that were pretty copacetic as well. But in my adult life, it'd been elusive. Yeah.
Right.
So it was quite something, really, and I'm really grateful for it. So
that's a good place to end. We got to get going.
We got to keep our party rolling. Anyways, I hope this has been somewhat valuable to all of you listening. And, this is a wonderful man. I'm so deeply grateful for our relationship, our friendship. We are kindred spirits.
And we found each other.
Yeah, we did. So what a great blessing.
Yeah, and hopefully our willingness to have these conversations publicly land somewhere. That's my hope.
Yeah, they land, and that they're somewhat helpful, because we try to speak about things which are universal, I think.
Well, it's not only that; it's how we talk. It's there's a certain liberation about being uncensored and loving with another person. That maybe what comes across is, wow, that feels good vicariously. Well, you can do it too.
Yeah. All right. Namaste. Thank you all so much for being here.
Adios.